expectations in Parliament, and recognizing the importance of gender consideration in all activities of the CPA. As the country that produced the first elected woman Prime Minister of the world, is Bandaranaike. Sri Lanka is particularly interested in the moves to assist in encouraging the professional contribution of women in democratic bodies from local authorities to parliaments. As an organization that seeks to strengthen representative democracy, your efforts to ensure the conduct of free and fair elections are most encouraging. Similarly, your focus on countries with new revived parliamentary systems is very useful, especially with the high intake of new members to parliaments after each elections. Distinguished guest, the vast resources of human experience available to the CPA, which has 175 branches and 17,000 parliamentarians, at the most recent count, place it in an excellent position to contribute to better understanding of practice and procedure in parliaments, examine international trading systems, and look at new policies on science in an age of rapidly advancing technology. It was also be extremely useful to explore the increasing trade among Commonwealth countries and diverse ways to facilitate such trade. Excellencies, I have no doubt that CPA has achieved much success in realizing the aims of Strategic Plan 2008 to 2012, especially in assisting members and branches to adapt good practice of democratic governance and strengthen the institution of Parliament. You have no doubt helped the Commonwealth deepen its democratic commitment in big and small nations by promoting best principles of representative government that removes barriers of equality in gender, community, faith, and other aspects that seeks to limit democracy. This conference in Colombo will discuss and decide on the CPA's new strategic plan for the next 4 years. This is a good time to think of strengthening the core values of democracy. Our work should not be confined to theories and concepts, but should look at the more practical aspects that affect the people. Our emphasis on the will of the people should lead us to give the most importance to policies that best serve the interests of the people. There is need to give the highest priority to the welfare of the people, to economic progress and development. The positively affected the lives of people. In this context, it will be interesting to look at Sri Lanka's own record of success through democracy. Our achievements in education and health stand out as examples to other countries and societies. Our 96%, or 96, 97% literacy is a proud record that has come from the blend of democracy. with a great tradition of education that came down from Buddhism and later advanced to the Christian churches. Similarly, our success in providing free health services to all also comes from a great tradition of healing that was advanced through democracy. It is also important to note that Sri Lanka achieved 8% growth last year after 6 and 7% growth earlier, even during the battle against terrorism, because of our commitment to the people and the values of democracy. It is our strong belief that there cannot be peace without development. The reverse is also true. There cannot be development without peace. These are all subjects of much relevance today. One must look forward to this conference, recognizing the proper priorities in furthering the democratic process. You will no doubt take into consideration the current global realities that often seems to threaten proper and effective democracies, and also seeks to challenge the sovereignty of nations, states, distinguished delegates. Your presence in Sri Lanka gives you a good opportunity to see for yourself the progress of democracy in our country. After the major threat it faced under terrorism, this is important in the context of the barrage of lies being spread about Sri Lanka today. As you will see, there is full freedom of travel to any part of the country. You can also speak to anyone from government or the opposition and different communities. Urge you to make use of this opportunity to learn of the real Sri Lanka in its post-conflict phase, when the highest priority is given to nation building through reconciliation. It is unfortunate that today many impressions of Sri Lanka in foreign countries are based on unverified facts and wrong or deliberately manipulated disinformation carried out by those who once supported the forces of terror. These same elements continue to sow the seeds of division and separatism through various media, and also influence politicians in their new countries of domicile to act against Sri Lanka based on such information. These are people who claim to speak for Sri Lanka or a section of our people, while slandering the country from thus shelters abroad. They do not bother to contribute to the reconciliation and development taking place here. But worse, they do not even contribute to the progress of the people, whose cause they claim to champion from their activities abroad. You can now see the truth and return to your countries with a deeper and richer understanding of Sri Lanka. Dear friends, in seeking to advance democracy in the world, which is the commitment of the CPA, it is also important to appreciate the different cultures and values of each country. Where democracy has been rooted or is growing, the Commonwealth is a rich diversity of nations with a common bond of democracy. It is also a rich diversity of cultures, traditions, and values. There are countries where culture and heritage date back to many millennia. There are others with shorter histories and traditions. Democracy will truly blossom when these differences are best understood and respected in all our dealings with each other. It is necessary for us all to be anchored in the true meaning and concept of democracy, which is the will of the people freely expressed. Recently, we saw fears of this in the very mother of democracy. In the early stage of the current financial crisis in Europe, there is also an unfortunate trend we see of efforts to impose democracy on people and states. There are many whom seems to think of regime change as the necessary path to democracy without seeing the consequences of such action that stare at us today. We are also aware of how human rights can be made a slogan by the worst violators of such rights to threaten traditional democracies or representative democracy is today competing for headlines with various emerging nations or regional springs. There is also the harm of drones seeks to bomb democracy into place with a carpet of destruction. We must be cautious of all these strategies. That experience shows have not helped real democracy to take root and thrive. It is necessary to bear in mind that democracy does not foster hatred within societies, among communities, and among nations and countries. Democracy stands for unity of purpose in a spirit of mutual understanding. In conclusion, I wish to state that having your confidence in a vibrant democracy, where the will of the people has been cherished and protected for 8 decades and more, there is every hope that your deliberations amidst the wellsprings of democracy that prevail in our land will produce the best results for parliamentary democracy in the Commonwealth and the world. May you be blessed by the noble triple gem. Terwan Salmai.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Miningwa Johannes Malango is a Member of Parliament of South Africa and Vice President of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. He is currently the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces in South Africa. And finally, to propose the vote of thanks, we invite Honorable Miningwa Johannes Malango.
Thank you, Program Director. Allow me to recognize a few people around the table. His Excellency, the President of the country, of the Democratic Socialist Republic of South Africa, Honorable Chama, the Speaker of Sri Lanka, and the CPA President currently, the Leader of Government Business, and also the members of the Executive Committee, Sir Alan Hazelhurst, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Honorable Chandima, MP, Deputy Speaker, Dr. Shija, Secretary General of CPA, Honorable Rani, the Leader of Opposition, Honorable Tamika, the Secretary General of Parliament, of the Sri Lankan Parliament, and recognize, of course, our CWP chairperson internationals with us now, all delegates, ladies and gentlemen. In making my closing remarks, please allow me also to make brief remarks in this conference. I welcome the opportunity to address delegates on the occasion of the 58th Common Parliamentary Association here in Colombo, Sri Lanka. I hope that the conference will give us an opportunity to reflect on the issues that impact on global and country matters. Traditionally, the CPA brings together countries with diverse social, political, and economical background, which are regarded as equal in status, and cooperate within a framework of common values and goals. It has long been an association of Commonwealth parliamentarians who, irrespective of gender, race, religion, or culture, are united by a community of interest, respect for the rule of law and individual rights and freedom, and by pursuit of positive ideals of parliamentary democracy. Program Director, its mission is to promote the advancement of parliamentary democracy by enhancing, acknowledge, and understanding of democratic government. It seeks to build an informed parliamentary community able to deepen the Commonwealth's democratic commitment and to further cooperate among its parliaments and legislatures. This mission is achieved through a strategic plan which ensures CPA activities continue to meet the changing needs of today's parliamentarians. South Africa is honored at the opportunity to host the 59th CPA conference next year. You are all invited, and come and enjoy them. The theme of the summit, or the 58th conference, is ensuring a relevant Commonwealth for the future. All of us, as a global community, we must commit ourselves in achieving the Millennium Development Goals. Just to remind you, which some of them are to eradicate poverty and hunger amongst our people, which is a very crucial issue amongst those developing countries especially. To achieve universally primary education, to promote gender equality and empower women, to reduce child mortality, to improve mental health, to control HIV and AIDS, malaria and other diseases, to ensure environmental sustainability, and to develop a global partnership for development. It is important, Master of Ceremony and everybody in this house, therefore, that as we inaugurate this year's conference, that we understand the nature of the many challenges that are facing us. Importantly, we need to know what is being done to address them. I am saying this because, as public representatives from parliaments and states' legislatures, we have the responsibility to represent the interests of the people. It is our duty to ascertain that the resources that our nations have, individually and collectively, are being used effectively and efficiently in order to advance development. As public representatives, we should not be afraid to be unpopular with members of the executive if they are not acting in the interest of the electorate. It is exactly for these checks and balances that we have the roles of implementers and those who oversee implementation in a democracy. Bodies such as the CPA have a significant role to play towards ensuring that we actively promote development informed by the values that we stand for, such as pursuing the ideals of democracy, promoting good governance, and respecting human rights and freedoms. Through the CPA, we remain committed to keep these foundation principles alive. A relevant Commonwealth for the future is one that invests in the young people, in its young people. It is therefore opportune that during this summit, we will, among other things, tackle the challenge of the youth unemployment. The association is keenly aware of its responsibility to reach out to the people in the process of advancing parliamentary democracy, especially the young generation, and to educate them about the work and values of the Commonwealth and the CPA, particularly in regard to the need to support democracy and growth and sustenance of democratic institutions. It is often said that widespread apathy exists amongst the young generation towards political participation and parliamentary democracy. Whether this fear is exaggerated or not, without doubt, young people need to understand the principles which underpin democracy and civil society, develop the skills to use that knowledge effectively, and be able to participate in the appropriate fora. Young people today are no longer seen as leaders tomorrow. They are leaders today, whether we like it or not. Through their investment in business development, in policy, as well as secular and religious communities, one can see what a diverse and active young Commonwealth community offers the future of the Commonwealth. It is therefore critical that we use this platform to intervene on behalf of the youth who are outside the margins of economy. What we do or fail to do today will define the future and that of our democracies. No future will be served by angry youth who feel ostracized and are not able to participate in the economy activities. With these words, I would like to thank you for honoring the 58th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference with a view to sharing knowledge and about matters that impact on our democracies and to strengthen CPA. President, I wish to especially thank you for taking a minute or two out of your busy schedule to come and be with us today and officiate at this conference. I thank you. You've done a wonderful job. It seems we are moving a direction because without your support, Commonwealth will not live. And as a patron, vice patron, I want to thank you very much. May I also take this opportunity to thank the Secretary General of Parliament and the staff of Parliament of Sri Lanka for providing such a wonderful venue and providing all the activities that you saw outside this morning. What an excellent welcome that we have received, all of us. I'm so heartened where I am at the podium today that this conference could take more than 8 days that we have planned, because I'm enjoying myself. And I think we're going to make this a very meaningful conference. May I thank the Executive Committee, thank Dr. Shija, who has been also here to come and work with the staff that has participated in putting such a wonderful occasion for us all. But also, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the wonderful demonstrations of activities that we saw here, different choreographers that were on the stage yesterday afternoon, in the evening. We really enjoyed it. But I don't talk about the meal that was extraordinary. I I can assure you that most of the people might have not slept early as they wanted to, but they enjoyed the meal very much. And thank you, all of you delegates, for behaving yourself so wonderfully and listen at all speeches which were delivered. I honor you because you are great and you are good listeners. Clap very big hands for yourselves. And I thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the platform.
Well, yes, with that we end the 58th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference. It is for you, ladies and gentlemen. The theme being ensuring a relevant Commonwealth for the future. With that we end the entire transmission here, coming to you live from the Mahinda Rajapaksa Nelumpokuta Theatre. 6 regions, 1,000 delegates being present here. And of course, bringing you the promise of making Sri Lanka proud, taking us to various countries, may it be boosting of tourism or education or health. Wherever we are proud as one nation that we are hosting the 58th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference here in Sri Lanka. And as a host, I'm proud to be presenting to you live, and thank you very much for joining us on our joyous occasion. Sharon Mascarenhas from the Nelumpokuna Mahinda Rajapaksa Theatre.
பொதுநலவாய பாராளுமன்ற ஒன்றியத்தின் 58வது மாநாடு இனிதே நிறைவு பெற்றுள்ளது. பொதுநலவாய பாராளுமன்ற ஒன்றியத்தின் துணை போஷகர் இலங்கை ஜனநாயக சோசலிச குடியரசின் அதிமேதகு ஜனாதிபதி மஹிந்த ராஜபக்ச அவர்களின் தலைமையிலே இந்த 58வது பொதுநலவாய பாராளுமன்ற ஒன்றியத்தின் மாநாடு இனிதே நிறைவு பெறுகிறது. கடந்த 7ஆம் தேதி ஆரம்பிக்கப்பட்ட இந்த மாநாட்டின் தொடர் எதிர்வரும் 15ஆம் தேதி வரை தொடர்ந்து நடைபெற இருக்கிறது. ஏற்கனவே பல சிற்று அமர்வுகள் நிறைவு பெற்றுள்ள நிலையிலே நாளை முதல் 15ஆம் தேதி வரை மேலும் பல அமர்வுகள் இடம்பெற இருக்கின்றன. முற்றுமுழுதாக இந்த நாடு சுதந்திரம், அதாவது அமைதியை பெற்றதன் பின்னர் நடைபெறும் மிக பிரமாண்டமான மாநாடு இந்த மாநாடு. அது மாத்திரமல்லாது உலக நாடுகளின் பொதுநலவாய அமைப்புகளை கொண்ட 54 நாடுகளைச் சேர்ந்த 1000க்கும் மேற்பட்ட மக்கள் பிரதிநிதிகள் எல்லா நாடுகளிலும் இருந்து வந்து கலந்து கொண்டமை மிகப்பெரிய வெற்றியாகவே கருதப்படுகிறது. எமது நாட்டுக்கு கிடைத்த மிக பெரும் வெற்றியாக. அந்த வகையிலே அமைதி நிலவப்பட்டதன் பின்னர் இந்த நாட்டின் அபிவிருத்தி, பொருளாதார முன்னேற்றம் போன்ற நடவடிக்கைகளை வெளிநாட்டுக்கு உணர்த்துவதற்கான மிக அருமையான ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பமாக இந்த மாநாட்டை நாம் கொள்ளக்கூடியதாக இருக்கிறது. எதைவாறாயினும் இந்த முக்கியமான மாநாடு 58வது பொதுநலவாய பாராளுமன்ற ஒன்றியத்தின் மாநாடு அதிமேதகு ஜனாதிபதி அவர்களின் தலைமையிலே இனிதே நிறைவு பெற்ற நிலையிலே நாம் மீண்டும் விடைபெறுகிறோம். மற்றொரு நிகழ்ச்சியில் சந்திப்போம்.
එනිමාවට පත් වූයේ රාජ්‍ය නායකයින් වෙනුවෙන් අනාගතයේදී පෙළසැදෙන පොදුරාජ්‍ය මණ්ඩලීය පාර්ලිමේන්තු සමුළුවේ සමාරම්භක සැසිවාරයයි නෙළුම්පොකුණ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ රඟහලේදී ආරම්භ වුණු මේ සැසිවාරය 15 වෙනිදා දක්වා බණ්ඩාරනායක සම්මන්ත්‍රණ ශාලාවේදී පැවැත්වීමට නියමිතයි. මෙහිදී රටවල පවතින ජාත්‍යන්තර සබඳතා පිළිබඳව මනාලෙස අදහස් සුමාරු කර ගැනීමට මනා තෝරදන්නක් හැදෙන වේදිකාවක් විදිහටත් අපට මේ පොදුරාජ්‍ය මණ්ඩලීය පාර්ලිමේන්තු සංගමේ සැසිවාරය හඳුන්වා දිය හැකියි. විශේෂයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකාව පසුකාලීනව ලබාගත් ජයග්‍රහණ පිළිබඳව අන්තර්ජාතික තලයට රැගෙන යාම සඳහාත් මේ හොඳ වේදිකාවක් වන බව නිසැකයි. අධිකරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා තමන්ගේ දේශනයේදී සඳහන් කළාසේ අතීතයේදී ලැබූ පන්නරය, දුක්කම් ගැටලු ඔස්සේ ලැබූ පන්නරය වර්තමානයේ ශක්තියක් කරගනිමින් ඒ ඔස්සේ අනාගතය කරා යන ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගමන පිළිබඳව එතුමන් කළ පැහැදිලි කිරීම ජාත්‍යන්තර ප්‍රජාවට ඒත්තු ගැන්වීම සඳහා මෙය ජාත්‍යන්තර වේදිකාවක් වනවාට නොඅනුමානයි. ඒ අනුව අද ආරම්භ වුණු මේ සැසිවාරය ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ඉතාමත්ම සුවිශේෂී වැදගත් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අනාගතය උදෙසා තැබූ හොඳ පෙරනිමිත්තක් විදිහට අපට දකින්නට පුළුවන්කමක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කොළඹ බණ්ඩාරනායක සම්මන්ත්‍රණ ශාලාවේදී මෙහි පසු සැසිවාර ගණනාවක් පවත්වන්නට නියමිතයි. ඒ ජාත්‍යන්තර ප්‍රජාව හමුවේ අපට ලැබෙන ඉතාමත්ම වටිනා අවස්ථාවක් වනවා ඇති. ඒ සියලු තොරතුරු ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය ඔස්සේ ඔබ වෙත වාර්තා කරන්නත් අප සැදී පැහැදී සිටිනවා. ඒ බලාපොරොත්තු ඇතුව මේ පැවැත්වුණු